Yo, what's up guys? My name's Kian. I'm from São Paulo, Brazil, and this is how I made my track Meta Elvis. Out now on Hottrax. Let's get into it. So, first off, we have the kick. Nothing too special about it. You just have a utility, making sure that the bass is mono. Anything below 200 Hertz is fully mono. Then we have a groovy bass line. I really like this bass line because I used one of my favorite plugins from Roland series, the SRX Studio. I use this preset, the 6-string bass. I really do like them, but anytime I use any bass from this plugin, I always prefer to use an amp because I feel that the bass without the amp kind of loses its life, as you can see here. Look, with the amp, now without the amp. So as you can see, the amp really brings more life to the bass and makes it stand out more in the track. So I really like this plugin. And it's native too. And this is what the bass and kick sound like together. As soon as I made this bass line, I knew that the track was going in the right direction. Now we have the drums. So nothing too complicated here. We have our hat group. So we have hat 1, which is just a normal closed hat. With the sustain all the way down. Now hat 2, on the other hand, has a bit more mid frequencies in comparison to hat 1. Hat 2. Hat 1. Now we have an open hat. I like to use a lot of these open hats on my tracks because I feel that it gives good dynamic to the drums. It's like as if the drums were breathing or something like that. I don't know. Now we have another open hat. This one is playing on an offbeat together with the clap. So it's pretty subtle, but when you play it all together, even the subtlest things in your drums make everything come together. Now the clap group. Here, as you can see, I'm using 4 different claps. Pretty overkill, I know, but it's all worth it in the end. So we have the first one, which is basically a 909 snare with the sustain all the way down. Then we have a rim snare. And we have a normal snare. And last but not least, we have a pre-shifted clap. And this is what the claps all sound like together. Now we have the shaker group. Nothing too special here. We have a 1x8 shaker. And then we have these 2 other shakers playing the same pattern, same MIDI. And this is what they sound like. Shaker 1. And shaker 2. This is what they sound like all together. We also have a rim shot that occasionally plays here. So it plays some different notes also. And last but not least, we have the loops. So first we have a normal shaker loop. Then we have a bossa nova loop actually that I got from Splice. And last but not least, we have a ride loop. And this is how the drum sounds all together. The main lead of the song, in which you hear it almost the entire track, is actually a hi-hat sample with a spectral resonator on it. Spectral resonator is actually one of my favorite Ableton Live plugins. I use it on basically almost all of my tracks. I feel that it gives a dirty and robotic feel to whatever sound or whatever synth or whatever sample you throw it onto. So this is what it sounds like. So as you can see, it's a rim sample, actually. And this is what it sounds like without the spectral resonator. Now with. You have this cool function. If you look right here, it says mode. You can either use it internally, which basically you can control the frequency or the note it's going to play, like this. So it's just going to play the same note. Or you can externally modulate it with a MIDI track. Here it's being modulated by the bass, so MIDI from bass, as you can see. So the difference is, instead of playing one constant note, it's going to play whatever the MIDI input is sending to the spectral resonator. This is what it sounds like with the bass. And the other lead that I think gave life to this track was an orchestra hit. Again, using SRX Studio. Nothing too special on here. I just found some notes that I liked and that fit with the track and fit with the vibe and just threw it on there. One thing that I liked is that it always hits on the drop, so then the drop comes with a lot of energy. The bass, the kick, the drums, and the orc hit, it's in your face, like. Then we have the synths. I found this kind of creepy soprano alien sounding preset on another Roland synth, the JX3P. Very good presets on here. I used it 3 times in this track. We're going to get into it. So the first one sounds like this. I basically did a filter automation here and threw a chorus on it just to give it a bit more stereo, and automated the filter to have it come in and come out and give it this kind of mysterious vibe. Then we have this other lead called the lead sync, which is another preset from the JX3P, and it sounds like this. It kind of sounds like a guitar strut with some echo on it. I liked it, so I threw it in there. And then last but not least, in the synth group, we have this other preset called Whirly Analog. It sounds like a distorted tom with some reverb on it, and this is what it sounds like. And transitioning from the third break to the build-up, I added this return track and threw an echo boy on it, so it would give this cool transition effect. Then we have the fill group, which is basically 4 different samples. I chopped them up and organized them in a way that I thought would sound cool. This is the first sample. It kind of sounds like a vinyl record stopping abruptly from out of nowhere, so I thought it was cool and added that in. Next we have a normal drum fill. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Then we have kind of like a crash kick hit. And finally we have what I think is a crash and hi-hat hit. So I thought it sounded cool and just threw it in there. And this is what it sounds like all together. Okay, now we have the vocal group. We have another spectral resonator. Nothing too special on here. I just threw it on there and then started to tweak it a bit to see if I could find a sound that I liked, and this is the result.
They asked me to do it, and I was anxious to do some live appearances. You know, it'd been a long time since I've been on stage in front of anybody live. And I was anxious to do some live.
In the third break, you can see here that I made a decay automation just to add a bit to the atmosphere of the break. And also, I had a return track with a delay, a reverb, and a glue compressor, sending the signal to the vocal track. And this is what it sounds like.
Anybody live. And I was anxious to do some live appearances. I had a big opportunity to get in front of people. You ever seen things like it? Never have. It scares them. It's a big place. You've been going.
As you can see in the return track, I have a glue compressor. So this is basically side-chaining the effects. So every time the vocal is playing, the return track isn't adding volume to the vocal and not bundling up all the effects being sent to the vocal track. Then we have just a random vocal chop I put in. And finally, we have the effects group. So here I have a white noise building up on the third build. This is what it sounds like. Just a normal white noise. Just a normal auto filter with a bandpass, choosing exactly the frequencies I wanted to use in this part of the track. Then we have a ride that I think fit very well with the track, adding a bit more tension, heading towards the first and the third drop. We have a reverse ride. And we have just a normal white noise on the third drop. Just to give it a bit more energy. And last but not least, we have some cymbal transitions. And this is how the main lead, synths, vocals, and effects groups sound all together.
Never happened. It scares them. It's a big place. You've been known as king of rock and roll. You think it's style.
So that's it, guys. This has been my video on how I made my track. Metal Elvis, out now on all digital platforms on Hottrax. Special thanks to Jamie and the Hottrax team for making it all happen. This VA really means a lot. And be sure to check it out. Peace.